to the Mixorcist.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Mixorcist. We're here in EB's backyard, downtown Toronto. Just maybe a kilometer or two, as we say here in Canada, from Budweiser stage, where you and I have seen Slayer and Anthrax and Testament and Lamb of God, and we've seen
Iron Maiden,
we've seen Slipknot, we've seen so many great shows here.
So many. Boston Heart.
I've seen Rush
the
here.
Jason Bonham Experience.
Oh my God, I've seen Neil Young here. So many great shows over the years. And we're just having some barbecue, we're having some cigars, and we're so happy just to be together for the first time in a year.
Yeah.
Bringing you a very different kind of Mixorcist episode with some neighbors and some nature sound all rolled in. We thought it'd be fun just to do 10 minutes on pandemic plugins. So the question is, we really haven't been out in the community doing any field work or whatever, and
Not much.
we get lazy or whatever, but we've been poking around, playing with a lot of plugins in the past year since we started this gig, and I'm wondering what ones have stuck for you. Of all the plugs we reviewed, or all the ones that you bumped into, which ones are you using pretty much on everything you do? So let's start there. Oh no, let's not start there.
Let's not start there.
Let's talk horror movies.
Oh, okay.
So first off, there's an I Spit on Your Grave 3.
Oh, nice.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. No, I mean, I love the first two. Great revenge movies. Great for, I don't know, just awesome kills, kind of like Saw, creative kills, Hostile, kind of like, ooh, and there's a couple of those. You're going to want to watch those.
Yeah.
Maybe stay away from that one, but I do have one that's on at least Netflix Canada, is called A Classic Horror Story.
Oh, I've heard of that.
You're going to want to check that
Italian
out.
one? Is that
It's Italian. Unfortunately, you're going to have to read it, but it's a bit of like, it's like Midsummer meets Cabin in the Woods. So it's got that meta, camera on camera, narrator on narrator vibe going to it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's super creepy, cultish. Like, I shouldn't have stopped. Why did I have to run out of gas here? Kind of thing. Dude, you're going to love it. Check it out. I think it was really, really well done, and I think it'll do well this year. What about you? What have you been watching?
Well, I'm just trying to jog the memory banks here because it's been a couple of weeks since I watched something, but oh my God, I did watch so much good stuff, and a lot of it was on Netflix. And can I even think of one of them, right?
It's hard.
It is.
There's a lot of good ones.
My God. Okay, so we may
I am excited because
I may have to check my list.
There is a new movie coming out called Bad Candy.
Yeah.
It's coming out in September on streaming, and guess who's in it? Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Oh, sick.
Mm-hmm.
Is he wearing a mask?
No, he's not. He plays a radio DJ, I think. I've only seen trailers. And, of course, Rob Zombie is now filming a film adaptation, or at least it might be a series, of The Munsters. So he's on location right now somewhere in Europe.
That'll be
doing a
interesting.
reshoot of The Munsters. Will definitely be interesting.
Very funny, I bet. Very funny.
All right, back at it. Let's talk about pandemic plugins.
Pandemic plugins. Yeah, because I can't remember the movie. You know what? We might cut back later when I remember. Or I might even cut my own little personal tribute to something that's really awesome that came out this year in movie land. Okay, so the movie I wanted to talk about that I almost remembered at the time, but now I do remember, so I'm slicing this in, is Willy's Wonderland, starring Nicolas Cage. It's on Netflix. I believe Nicolas Cage also co-produced the movie with some of the other actors, Emily Tosta, Rick Wrights. It's an independent film, small town, abandoned amusement park, murderous animatronic characters, sort of like comedy / horror / action, very creative kills, paper thin plot that's not hard to to follow along. I guess that's not really the point of it. It's just fun. It's just a good, fun movie that I really enjoyed. So there you go, Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, that's not good. Not good. All right, you want to talk about your pandemic plugins? What have you been using on? What's on every mix for you these days?
What's on every mix for me? Something from Acoustica Audio is definitely on almost every mix. I don't know if that's a plugin in particular, but it is a brand that makes its way onto everything because I find that when you're looking for something that's analog and something that's vibey and you don't want it to sound too fake and you don't want it to sound like everything else that you're using, Acoustica, because it's a different kind of technology.
Yep.
And
which plugins would you say you bump into the most?
I've been bumping in lately to Gold. I've been on a real Gold trip.
Gold is nice.
Because I was actually been using Module a lot to simulate different consoles. I've got a couple bands I've been working with, and I've been you know, just sussing out the tracks and how, what kind of mixes are going to sound good. It's going to be done in software, so that's going to require a little more time to get right, but I'm sure we will. And so it's like, which consoles sound good? You know, does the Gold console, does the Neve console sound good? Does the API sound good? Does the, what about the old, I've done old cream mixes on
Cream is
EMI TG stuff.
Yeah.
Coffee mix. I did a cola mix. I'm starting to love cola, the Kodak console. That's
Yeah, it was a good one.
crazy punchy.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And there's still some on the list. I want to do a magenta mix.
Magenta's awesome.
Because, you know, everybody's always mixed on a console made out of massive passes on every strip, right?
Yeah, on every strip.
What would that sound like?
Yeah, I know.
Could be fucking awesome.
But you know
right?
what I find? If I mix with magenta,
yeah,
most of the bands, like 1 or 2 bands per channel, is enabled.
yeah,
I find I want a little presence peak here. Great. I'll enable the high mid.
yeah.
And then here, if I want something, let's say overheads or maybe an acoustic guitar, then I'm going for the highs. But I will never have all 4 engaged on a massive passive. It's almost like too much improvement. If you've done a good job, if you have a good source track to begin with, generally speaking, you don't want that much tube kind of sound, that much tube EQ on every channel.
And well, it's too many variables too, because the way that particular EQ works, like you mess with one band, it affects things that are going on in the other. They're reactive bands. I believe the reason for that might be, and I'm not an electronical PhD or anything, but the reason for that would be that they're not buffering every single filter step.
Exactly.
In the you know the chain or the summing of the filters. If you have to, I think you have to buffer them or something like that, and then you'll get it so that the low end won't affect the high. But I think in massive passive, some of the bands, it might not be all of them, but some of the bands affect the other bands, if I'm not mistaken.
Great sounding EQ.
Yeah.
Overall, I found with Acoustica these days, I have been using more than anything else. I've been using Brown. I did not expect to like that EQ, but it can be clinical if you need it to be.
Yeah.
It's sweet if you want it to be. It doesn't, I mean, a dB or 2 of gain or cut. The fact that it has gain or cut on every single frequency means it's really flexible. And it's one of the compressors that's good enough from the Acoustica family to actually work. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the Acoustica compressors I won't go for. Yeah. If it's not Brown, it's going to be Ruby's somewhere in my mix all the time because it's just so
beautiful
good.
Top end on that, really smooth plug-in.
Pink, if I'm using one of these bad boys, a dynamic or a U87 that needs to cut through a mix, it's got to be Pink. And then Coffee. I really dig Coffee.
Coffee's got its own tone, man, and it's a beautiful tone.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of ones that came out like Brown and Camel that I thought, oh, I'm going to use this every day. And in the end, I can't say I've used it as much as I thought I would. Gain Station was that way. Lift 3 was that way. They're good.
Yeah.
But they're not everything I wanted. Lately, I've been on a little bit of an Ivory limiter kick.
Oh,
their
new
you
mastering
told me
that. Yeah, and you know I haven't played with that one as much, but
yeah,
because I have a couple favorite limiters, but they're just standard brick wall limiters. But maybe a couple that I like a little better than others. But,
well, you know I love True Peak by Brainworks.
But I've got to try the Ivory because that when we tried it on that video, it had it seemed more like an analog limiter. Like it didn't seem like a digital brick wall. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe that's all it is. But
could be.
I don't know.
But sound wise, it doesn't really mess things up.
Yeah.
It doesn't really mess with your tone, and it works. So I really enjoyed using it, and it gives you that kind of volume presence boost if you need it.
Yeah.
And we could use it right now to get rid of those background sounds of the cicadas
cicada
and
removal
children.
plug-in, right?
I have sprays for both.
If somebody marketed a cicada removal plug-in, I bet you you'd become a bazillionaire. You'd
all
be
right.
So damn rich.
So non-Acoustica, what's on your mix every day?
Well, non-Acoustica, for this mixing, I've been using Saw Studio a lot, and I know I don't actually know if I've talked about it before. Maybe I have on a previous video. We'll just have to see. But Saw Studio is brilliant software that's been around since the 90s. It's one of the oldest DAWs. It's there with DigiDesign and eMagic, Logic, Turtle Beach. If you're old enough to remember, that is.
I remember that.
Motu Digital Performer.
Yep.
It's coded in assembly language. It's super efficient. It's super. You could run I could run 100 tracks 15 years ago, and EQ and gate. The sound quality is so good, in fact, that quite often I don't feel the need to start adding saturation or like these other analog vibe effects. Sometimes I'll listen back to the mix and I'm thinking, well, yeah, I probably should have added a little bit.
Sorry to interrupt. I just got a text from John Oram.
Oh, nice.
And Johnny says that he got he excited to be able to share final results from our panel of judges. I'm trying to think what body. SME News, the Southern Enterprise Awards, 4th consecutive Southern Enterprise Awards. Anyway, so John won Most Innovative Analog Product Design Engineer 2021.
For the consoles?
I don't know if it's it must be the consoles. I don't think they're referring to the plug-in here.
Yeah.
But just a shout out to a guy who, I mean, we had a really great experience talking to him on multiple occasions. And we were working with the high-def EQ plugin from Acoustica, which is one of my pandemic plugins I use a lot. And so he's gone and won himself an award. He's back living in Spain now, which I know was something he was really looking forward to. So if you happen to be watching this, John, congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, man.
We sent our best wishes via text earlier, but good on you, dude. I mean, you make incredible gear. If you haven't checked out John Oram's stuff, go to, what is it? It's Oram Professional Audio Limited.
Yeah, that's the name of the company.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the website, but if you Google that, it'll get you there. And check out Acoustica's Opal.
Yeah.
Great plugin.
Which he said that he went to a whole bunch of different companies and they were trying to model the gear. They couldn't do it. They couldn't get it right, but Acoustica got it right.
Yeah.
He thinks in part because of this thing called group delay, where it's like, the bass gets delayed a little bit. Transformers will do that. Certain circuit topologies will do that. We're not talking about not like an echo delay.
Right.
It's a slight amount. So enough, it doesn't intermodulate with the high end and stuff. And
exactly.
I don't know. I mean, John explains it actually really well in a video that we put up.
I use
from
it.
him.
I love the plug. It's very flexible. That detail knob allows you to go 12 dB or 6 dB, whatever you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
So it can be used equally well in mixing and mastering applications. I think it's a sweet sounding equalizer. I really love having it. My only beef, as you know, is the GUI. Hard to see with my old man.
Oh, but
glasses.
They made a big version. You know that, right?
No, I don't.
Oh, they made a giant. Yeah, like way back. Yeah, after everybody complained, they now have a giant version that'll like fill up your whole.
I'm gonna go download
it's an
that.
option. Yeah, it's on Aqua.
As soon as these vodka sodas wear off. Yeah. So what do I use every day? I'm always using. I love the new Brainworks Audio Black Box version 2, the mid-side version.
Oh, nice.
Magnificent plugin. The first one was brilliant. This one's even better.
So what are the improvements in your mind?
Well, the mid-side, first of all,
yeah.
Better output trims, the inclusion of TMT on every channel. I don't think that was there before. Yeah. And the ability to shape the saturation. So you can put a high shelf, a low shelf, and a mid-peak in the saturation. So if you want a little more control, great. There's also a density knob, which seems to like thicken it up or oversaturate it, almost like a bias knob on a tape machine or a tube amp. Other than that, the classic tones there. Beautiful plug-in. True bypass is there now. Love it. I love...
Everybody loves Black Box.
I also use Empirical Labs Arouser.
Yeah.
Or the Universal Audio Distressor.
Oh, yeah.
Hard to beat. It's just got a little edge over Arouser, and I love that plugin. However, Arouser has got a detector side chain.
Yeah.
Which, man, oh man, sometimes I should demo for you what I do to a bass drum, like a hip-hop bass drum. Yeah. Oh, my God. It turns a kick drum into a musical instrument. Like it literally has a frequency that you can accentuate. Like you would hear in a real hip-hop record. Incredible plugin. I like the Big Freak as well.
Yeah,
I'm digging Universal Audio's Lexicon 480. I know that's a couple of years old now, but I've been bringing that back for a lot of my reverbs, and I totally dig it. Always, Universal Audio LA2A, Universal Audio Shadow Hills Mastering Compressor, and the Manley Massive Passive are frequent choices. I've been going back to the 1176 a lot lately, too. Haven't touched that in a long time.
Well, I went on a big 1176 trip.
Yeah. And then what else is good? I'm trying to think. Always, let's talk about waves for a minute. If I'm looking for something with a high track count,
Yeah.
I'm going back to omni-channel frequently.
Yep.
I'm even going back
Renaissance, man.
to some of the Renaissance
Because
stuff.
you know what? Because they got it right back then.
They sure did.
It's 20 something years old.
Oh my God, probably
they got
2003.
It right. If you analyze the Renaissance plugins, that compressor, the EQ, they don't alias as far as anything significant. They don't create. I don't even think the EQs cramp. I could be wrong about that, but it's like on a technical level, they're actually almost perfect, and on a sound level, they sound quite reasonable. You can mix whole records with them. Whole records, whole movies were mixed in them. I went into a major dubbing stage, like not just a few years ago. They had on the big Avid S6 and all that.
Oh yeah.
They had Renaissance EQ on a lot of these tracks for the movies.
Easily use it on a live rig too, if you had it.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I mean, for me, one that I've Unison, Tone Project's Unison. I mean, I'm in love with that plugin. It is just super clean, but super gooey. It's super good. It doesn't have a lot of distortion. It doesn't have distortion, but it adds motion. It adds everything else.
Yes.
And it's like just one. And half the time, you know, if you're mastering or if you're putting something on your master bus, you don't want that shit anyway. You just want to make it a little more compact or to make it move a certain way. In Unison, the ability to tweak that plugin, the ability to just fine tune is that if there's one little frequency that's bothering you, it's not like the Pultec where you go, oh, well, that's all I got to reach for another plugin. It's like, no, in Unison, it's like, oh, well, tell me what it is. Tell me what's wrong. There is a knob here that will fix what's
whatever's wrong.
And we have to learn what they are. And that's a steep learning curve and stuff.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. That is, I would say, a leap forward in terms of plugins.
The Better Maker.
Oh.
By Plugin Alliance. Their Better Maker model. Can't remember the model exactly, but oh my God, so much flexibility. So it's like having 3 EQs in one. So it's got a Pultec type with the expectable frequencies and steps, but it's also got a little more of a, almost more like a true parametric built in. So there's almost no situation you can't box yourself out of with the Better Maker, and I've been using it quite a bit. I found it was really good, tonally speaking, very wide, very full. I really liked it. I thought it was very cool.
Yeah, amazing EQ.
So I think those are my big ones in terms of things that are kind of new-ish. I mean, I've got my old standards like Waves NS1. What a godsend that is.
Every time you come in here, you're breaking my concentration. You're distracting me.
I just picked up ML4000 and ML8000 from McDSP.
Oh, yeah.
So I was reading a lot about different mixers that have been using them, like Servingania.
Oh, yeah.
Just like using the ML4000. Chad Blake's using the ML4000. Like, what is it about this plugin? Like, is it really that good? You're going to put a multi-band on your mix? And I'm reading like Al Smith has the analog tube tech multi-band on it. In fact, what you can do, you can watch the meters, and it's like a little reference check on yourself. So you can see, if you're setting it up in a way so you're not really seeing the meters move, and you have a nice preset that you've dialed in or found or whatever, when you start to see the meters move, you go, oh, I got too much low mids in there.
Yeah.
Okay, what's causing that? Like, it can actually help you as a tool.
Yeah.
And it can also, like, things start to get loud, it can start to help control the shaping. And you might find that you don't need an EQ on the bus, or like a compressor and then an EQ, or even a saturator or whatever. Like, you might be able to do it just with that. That has the 4000, I think the 8000 also has its own brick wall limiter built in. So you don't really need any other plugins under that. But it is dangerous. A powerful tool is also very dangerous.
Always.
So,
Always.
but I'm getting into that one now. I find if I want that super clear pop thing, that's one of the ways people have been getting it, right? Is with that plugin. So I've got it now.
Wicked.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good.
Yeah.
I think it's a good roundup for the things we've been using lately. Send us yours. What are the ones you guys have been using? What are you liking lately? And what horror movies you're watching? What have you been up to now that the restrictions are lifting? What are some of your first activities that you want to get back to? Shows you've been seeing? Events you're going to, or what's lighting you guys up these days? And we want to thank you very much, as always, for watching the Mixorcist, for being fans of the show. We love you all. Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe.
You. Eddie, thanks to you.
Eddie says thank you. He didn't have much to say about the plugins, but that's Eddie. And cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Have a great rest of the summer.